Hey, dude.
Yo, I just started the stream. I look like an old man with a robe on.
Um, Excellent. Are you going for the Emperor Palpatine look?
Yeah, it's a new aesthetic I'm trying out. We'll see how
You
it
should
goes.
you should say. I'm sure there's some character in League of Legends that wears a hood that you can say you're cosplaying.
Yes. I think there is a shockingly low number of characters like that. It's probably Talon or Twisted Fate. Um, so let me. I'm just waking up right now. I fell asleep intentionally. I was feeling a little tired. Now I'm feeling
Yeah.
even more tired because that's how naps work.
Hmm.
I fell asleep. So let's just make sure we give people a few minutes. Yeah, when you posted your sheet today, like it just dawned on me, like, oh yeah, that's what happens when you introduce 2 to 3 more teams into a sheet.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll have to be focused,
Huh.
and I'll save my comments.
Can always use comments. Always. So let's see. Let me get one of the Talon. But
Open up the chat here.
yeah, so I have a picture of a champion open on my other screen right now. I'm pretty sure that's basically just me, right? The guy with the hood on.
I have to wait for my stream to catch up here. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's you.
I could go
Talon
get.
cosplay. You should put that. Cosplay's hot.
People
You
do
can bring
seem to
in
like that.
all the people from Twitch.
Talon cosplay. There's Twisted. I'm pretty sure there's a Twisted Fate one too. Let's see. Twisted Fate hood. I might just be thinking of
Skins,
like the
right?
wrong thing.
I assume they sell skins.
They do. Lots of them. Lots of them. Okay, so I think that is enough time. The people will arrive shortly. So I have the sheet. I'll get the sheet from you. Jesus. Terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a few we can just ignore.
Oh, we will be
Maybe
able
that's
to
where
ignore
we
so
start.
many. Whoa. Uh, how do we do this? All right. So there's got to be a way for me to do this that makes sense. Because it's not like enlarging. Enlarging?
Oh, yeah. Um, let's see if I just
Make it okay. Yeah, if you did, it'd probably be easier. So we have our first comment. Max Alex says, "I thought it was a modern Jedi look. First of all, how dare you?"
Well, don't insult him too much.
Yeah, modern God, Jedi, please. They wish.
So if I don't know, if I send you the picture. Actually, you know what? You know what would actually make sense? Is if I shared the file with you, so I could write in, and you could see the stuff I'm typing in there.
We could do that, but if you start writing random curse words into the sheet, then we kind of can go off the rails pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a couple of your things with DFS Bachelor, so I don't think I'm gonna get as bad as him.
Yeah, there are some words. There are some words that are thrown around. Today, when he started talking about like the guilty pleasures thing, I was like, "This is gonna be so funny." Like if he just says something insane, but he backed off of it pretty fast. I must remain hydrated. How many lineups are you running out tonight? Are you doing like the dime or the quarter tonight? Do you know which contest you're playing in?
I am a bit all out tonight. I'm doing dime the quarter. I put up some head-to-heads to try out, and then I got one in the $4.
Cool. I'm either doing 10 or 20 lineups in the Titans Fury because I'm furious.
So if I share that sheet now with you,
Okay.
yeah, that's in the second tab if you can get in there.
Separate. But the real question is to zoom or not to zoom. All right.
We can at least focus on these two. I can fill in.
The one problem that I didn't anticipate by putting on this hood was that the guy who calls me a vampire and the guy who called me a modern Jedi might combine forces and start calling me like Emperor Palpatine or something.
I mean, that was my initial reaction.
Yeah.
Mainly because my son just watched the episode 3 for the first time, and he keeps putting on a hood and
that's a good
Emperor
sign.
Palpatine.
Good sign. It's always
Totally
great when they're attracted to the dark side.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's so dark side. All right.
So let's get started. First up, Matt is here. Mr. Dark Sheep. The Samuel L. Jackson to my Emperor Palpatine. How's it going, Matt?
It's good. It's good. Had an interesting day today, but we don't need to get into that.
Well, that's a ferocious tease. Okay.
Well, I was supposed to have a phone interview, and then the person never called, and then so I was working through a recruiter, and I contacted him like 15 minutes after I was supposed to get the call, and he's like, "Let me find out." Oh, that guy got laid off. So I don't think they were hiring right now.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Good news, the dark side is always hiring. Just let me know. Just let me know if you want a word with the dark side. and those who control it. Lou Scont. That's dangerously close to something offensive. Let's get this money tonight, boys. Correct.
Yeah, I think we got it. We're gonna get it because it seems like we are the only people that are gonna be on IG tonight.
Oh
so
yeah, there's no one else likes those players. Those players, that team's no good. So check out Monkey Knife Fight for prop bets on fantasy points, kills, etc. Maybe another time. But we're just gonna get into the first matchup. So the first matchup we have, the first lineup that we're trying to create is RNG and T1. So
well,
what?
Actually, kind of where I wanted to start tonight. Not to throw off your show from the beginning here, but is there LCK teams that you like?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that Genji, T1, and Damwon Gaming should all be considered, especially if you're running multiple lineups. I think it's really tough to make the argument to have them as your number one stack, considering all we know about the teams and like the upside and the playoff implications and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing that I definitely believe is that the scoring we've seen is somewhat flukish in terms of like how everything has turned out, because we have seen some slates where the best team comes from Korea, but like way less than we should have.
Yeah.
That would be like saying,
and it's my tendency just to pass them over so far.
Yeah. And I think as that information becomes ubiquitous in the daily fantasy industry, there will be slates that there's a huge edge because of it, but it's going to be difficult to figure out what slates those are, and it's going to be even more difficult to get enough exposure to those kinds of outcomes to give yourself leverage. So I think that on most slates, it's a question we should be asking ourselves if a Korean team is the best favorite on the night. But it's so tough to be comfortable running out lineups like that, because you just have that built-in like negative voice in your head that's saying, oh, well, if you do this, then you're going to look like such an idiot, because of course the Chinese team is going to score more. That's always my fear. So let's get into the first lineup.
Your head is covering up the spreadsheet, by the way.
Yours, yes. Okay, correct. So I will do this. And then we can get started. That should be okay where it is right now. Okay, so RNG plus SKT, we cannot get the AD carry with RNG as the primary stack and T1. That is not surprising. I would expect us to like have to drop down pretty far, and then this, like, you know how yesterday we had 3 different teams that we had to like look to a jungler, topper, support for captain. I think it'll probably be 5 or 6 tonight. So before we go to mid, I'm just going to do the AD carry reverse. So now we're 900 away. So if there's probably a 2-man swap. There's probably 900 away or 700 away. So there's probably a one or two player swap that you can get to, where you're incorporating a third team. What would the best team to incorporate as the third team be?
Oh, let's see.
with RNG and T1? As you
Oh,
hunt down that
IG,
information. You said
obviously.
IG? Um,
Yeah.
would any of those salaries fit in? It looks like it probably would. So if you went from, oh, actually maybe not. Wow, the salaries are kind of crazy. I didn't really look at them like relative to one another yet.
Mm.
But Invictus Gaming is more expensive than T1 in every position except for team. So that's not going to help us. So we would need to go.
DWG is the next.
So DWG. We're looking for so anybody who's like looking at me go through this list. The basically what I'm trying to figure out is right now RNG and T1 is too expensive. Specifically this lineup right here because it's the least expensive one. That includes RNG and T1. So in order to get to a lineup that fits in the salary restraints, we're going to have to incorporate a third team if we want to have Teddy as the captain.
Yeah, and Oh My Dear here in chat is saying Gen G team.
Yes, that's a pretty good idea. Gen G team would fix that right up. You are correct. So before we move on to the next thing, let's take a look at Gen G versus KT specifically. Do you have any ownership numbers that you've seen for Gen G and KT, or is there a side that you prefer in this matchup?
Mm-hmm. Let me look.
Okay, so basically, I'll vamp while you're doing that.
Okay.
So the money line, I'll just get the money line just so that like the people have a frame of reference. So Gen G money line is minus 222, and that is about 70%. So like if you look at the favorites compared to the underdogs specifically tonight, the the worst favorite is a 70% favorite. So that lets you know how crazy the slate is tonight.
I'm seeing Gen G team is the highest owned piece of that game, according to the projections that I look at.
That makes sense.
Yeah, look, they've got 5K at salary, and that seems like it's like 600, 800 less than it has been, if I'm recalling right.
Yeah. So I think part of what we're seeing when that happens is if DraftKings has previously had a big correlation between the team and the rest of the players on the team, and the team is getting less ownership, then I could see them doing it like this to try to incentivize players to get the team into their lineups. And I think that earlier when you were asking like what favorites do I like any of the Korean favorites, if I was comparing a favorite stack 1-to-1, I would probably like the Chinese stacks more than all the Korean ones. But I think that the individual teams, supports, and top laners are the easiest ones to convince me to jam into a lineup, because there shouldn't be a difference in upside between like Gen G and T1 or Gen G and RNG. So I do like that. In terms of the other places that I've talked about this matchup so far today, on DFS Bachelor's channel, we started to do a deep dive on KT, and KT is I think KT is really a live dog in this situation. They are the fourth highest rated team in Korea right now. And from a matchup perspective, I think they play a lot of the champions that I want my teams to be able to play. And Gen G has not looked invincible either.
I was going to say, if I remember right, they haven't been playing as great, and the playoffs there are basically you work up your way up the ladder, if I recall.
Yeah, it's like a gauntlet. Yeah, well, it's called a gauntlet. Yeah, so the lowest rated teams play against each other and like whittles down the field.
And Gen G's at the top, correctly?
Yeah, I think Gen G controls their own destiny, and
Yeah.
that is pretty good. So, so I think that I like their out of everybody from Gen G, I think I like the team slot the most.
Sure.
Um, because they could go 2-0 in slow games, which may hurt like DraftKings scoring for the players, but would actually benefit the team, or at least not hurt the team. So it's definitely a spot where if you can go from one of the other team slots to Gen G and fit the salary in, I think it's a good move in general. Just looking at the salary, I mean, the fact that Faker is Faker actually 7,000? He's less expensive than the mid laner from World Elite. Like, that's insane. That makes no sense to me. So the first one, I guess you would have to include on the 3 team slots. You might want to throw in T1 as primary, RNG as secondary, Gen G as team. I don't know if we have like an easy way to put that into the sheet without it being confusing.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna stick with taking notes on these 2 stacks.
Okay. So then let's go back to RNG and we'll go down and we'll knock out a lot of those fast then. So RNG you can stack with KT Rolster, which I think, like I said earlier, I think KT Rolster's a live dog. I'm not sure how much upside they have, even if they 2-0. Not really sure what the upside is for KT. Not a huge fan of their DraftKings scoring prospects. I think that it's more interesting to try to get exposure to them on the money line or with the game spread. So let's see. Yeah, that's that. So for the 2 teams rostered, if you want to throw in RNG KT, ADC 4-3, RNG OMG, ADC 4-3. Same with Sandbox.
Slow down. What was the second one there?
The second one.
So RNG OMG. I got
it. KT Rolster, OMG, Sandbox. You cannot combine RNG and Team World Elite, which is interesting. And then let me actually fix this one down here. We should be able to get 2 more. Let's see if that works. Yeah, so we can't get World Elite in, but we can get a Freak of Freaks, and then we don't want to get Dominus in there, but obviously you could do the game stack. The game stack I think is almost always going to fit in. Oh my dear is saying play aiming as a one-off and then move on from KT. So I think that I don't even know if I could convince myself to do that. Like I know based off of what I was saying, if they're a live dog, we should be comfortable playing aiming as a one-off. But I think there are a lot of scenarios where KT, even 2-0 is Gen G, and aiming doesn't get to be one of the 2 best AD carries on the slate. So then it would have to come down to like having a different AD carry that has better value or higher raw points. It's tough. And I think that's why we'll see a really low ownership on KT in general.
I think I'm missing. I don't see any AF on my spreadsheet. Oh.
Ruh-roh. Easy fix. At his price, he probably would, to be honest. Just Call Me Q says, to the league, to the league, to the league of items. Correct. That is undeniable. So I think that's good for RNG. While you scramble and...
Oh, there's so many combinations. I got 2 columns.
Oh, so you weren't even looking at the second column. Okay. So you did prepare for this situation.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So that should be mostly it for RNG. So I'm good to go on to T1.
Yes, sir.
See, the thing is, it's funny, like, the way that it is in the sheet, because the salaries, like, just looking at the salaries, I know that T1 is going to be easier to fit in with everybody else. Because, like, Faker's only 7,000, which is absolutely insane. So you could do T1 plus Gen G. I don't love that combination. Because, like I said, it just feels so difficult to get 2 Korean teams into the same lineup and feel like you have the upside that you need. So you can do Gen G plus... You can do T1 Gen G, T1 Damwon Gaming. Jay McDougall said, I read somewhere that top owner is the least correlated position, so therefore the best position to one-off. Can you guys comment on that? Does it make sense? I don't think that it's the best position to one-off. I think that I understand why they would say that. Just because something is the least correlated to everyone else on their team doesn't mean it's the best position to one-off. I think it makes it easy to justify one-offing it, but it doesn't mean that you're giving yourself the best upside possible from one-offing it. Matt, do you have an opinion on the best position to one-off when you do it?
So I think generally if I'm going to one-off on one of these combo slates, it's going to be at the team position.
Okay.
Just because I feel like, and maybe this is hearsay, but the teams in Korea tend to be more of a higher scoring.
So teams in Korea are higher scoring, in relation, like they're relatively higher scoring. Meaning, sure. if all of the regular players from Korea are like 5 to 10 points lower per game from the Chinese teams, the Korean team slot itself, I think, is exactly even with China, if not maybe higher. I would say probably even though. I could actually look that up real quick. So in projections, I'll go to team, and then average points. If I sort that, the 2 highest average teams are Gen G and T1. Obviously, it's very highly correlated with their team winning a lot of the time, and sure. I think that the other reason that happens is because, like, the best possible performance for a team is going to require the game to go super long, where they get like several barons, several dragons, every single tower. So you'll normally see the winning team get like 1 to 2 barons, 4 to 5 dragons, 11 towers, first blood, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the game not played bonus is extremely important for teams, because in a loss, a team is going to get like, they could theoretically get more than 15, but the game not played bonus is almost always better than a loss. Like an extremely high percentage of the time. So before moving on from that, I think, just to go back at the top being the best spot to one-off, if I was looking to optimize a lineup, I think that the best spots to do a one-off would be mid or 80 carry, because in my head it makes a lot more sense intuitively that a carry from another team could have like an extremely high kill total without without being highly correlated with their team. So I could see a carry coming from a team that doesn't have a couple of teammates that are extremely high. So specific players who have had performances like this, I think, are like Juan Fang on Sunning. Even if he goes 1-2 in a matchup, I could see him having one ridiculous performance and then one mediocre performance and then one mediocre to bad performance in a loss, or in both of his losses. Another player that I could think of would be somebody like Knight. Knight has had some matches where he just gets a ridiculous amount of kills, and for the most part, those kills come with his teammates playing really well. But if you look at the last slate specifically, you had Knight with like very, very good scoring, and then Jackie Love with mediocre scoring. So if you were able to get access to Knight, but then pivot off of Jackie Love, the reason why it makes sense is because there is a maximum number of kills that every team can really expect to have. And on that day, we actually did see Betty slightly outperform Jackie Love, and Betty was like the 80 carry on those teams that took down that tournament.
Sure.
So Just Call Me Q says they were also focusing Jackie Love super hard during the match. Exactly. So what were we going to say, Matt?
Oh, I was going to get us back on track.
Word. So
T1 with Genji ADC, and then you said another one?
Yeah, Genji and Damwon Gaming are both with T1 as the captain side. So I know it might not like line up 100% with the sheet, but like at least we're giving them a possible spot for them to start looking at the two teams. So then we have T1 plus KT is good, and then everyone else that's lower should be good. Yeah, so everyone past all the underdogs are good with T1. And that will not be the case for some of these other teams. So am I good to move on to Invictus Gaming?
Yeah, I'll come back and fill in the rest of the ones.
Yeah, because all the underdogs are almost always fine. So now we're on Invictus Gaming, the most popular team on the slate, I believe. You cannot combine them with KT Rolster, but you can combine them with OMG, Sandbox, and a Freak of Freaks.
All right. KT, Sandbox.
So that's a little surprising. What's up?
So I think you have pointed these guys out. I don't know who is doing it, but it's the graphs that I can't remember who it is.
Sports projections?
The graphs that the sports projections. So they had when it comes to they give up more to mid. So do we want to start at ADC for IG tonight, or do we want to start at mid?
So are you saying that World Elite gives up more points to opposing mid laners?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, let me look at the thing that he has. So why would World Elite give up more points to mid laners than AD carries? I think the one thing that I'd watch out for from that graph specifically is that all of the statistics that are used are so like backwards looking, obviously. Like that's the whole intention behind the graph. They have made a roster change away from Plex. So so now that Teacherma is the mid laner, I would want to see what the last couple of games have looked like for mid laners. So the most recent one, that was the night game, right? Or no, that was against E-Star. So I would need to see the results from that. I'll look that up real quick. Do you have any
Okay.
Do you have any opinions on that graph? Do you think that is something you're gonna try out, or you're just looking at more into it right now?
On what?
That matchup, like, are you, when you saw that graph, was the first thing you thought like, I should be trying to force in the mid laner more than the AD carry?
Yeah, just as I was trying to think through ways or what I want to do with IG tonight, I was looking at that and thinking and comparing it to the projected ownership. And I mean, the projected ownership between those two positions on IG is small difference, but it is bigger on the ADC mid laner.
Yeah,
So if there is something to take advantage in there, it seemed like a thing to attack, especially in new position.
sure. So I have their match against E-Star in front of me. Cryan played Cassidon and LeBlanc, but I can't remember how many kills they gave up in that game. So I'm trying to find that right now. I think that was the day that I did the poke yourself in the eye lineup, and I think that Cryan and Wink performed well, if I remember correctly. Because normally, like, I can just Google it really fast and it just comes up, but it's not coming up for that one. So we're gonna move on.
Okay.
But in terms of the usefulness of those graphs, I think that the data visualization does help look at those spots. Like, it gives you ideas of different spots that you can attack, but I wouldn't instantly take it as gospel. You just got to remember, like, are there other potential reasons why it happened, or, like, has anything happened that could change that trend, or, like, the effectiveness of that piece of advice. And I think the fact that they've changed mid laners is very significant, although they gave up a ton of points in their last match. I'm pretty positive. Okay, so which one are we on now? So we would still have to do RNG T1. Right now in front of us we have IG plus a couple of underdogs. So did you get all the underdogs that we had?
I'm gonna go back and
Okay.
do those.
So I'll just go back to the top and we'll try to get
Right,
the most important ones in.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In the interest of time, let's try to hit these top ones.
Okay. So let's go to mid, RNG mid. We cannot get T1 as a 4-3. We cannot get T1 as a 3-4 for AD carry. Oh wait, that was for mid. So let me go down to mid. Plus T1, no. And then 3-4 with T1, no. I do want to look at the mid for T1 though, because like, he's just so cheap that I think it might actually work. So we're 300 away on this roster construction, and that would allow you to get another jungle mid duo from a different team. So I think this lineup is interesting because we're so uncertain about who's starting for T1 in the jungle. You could kind of get rid of that and then blend RNG and T1 together and then just jam in a third team. So that might be a good spot to look at tonight. And then we have T1. Not sure why this is this way. I don't think any of these are valid lineups. So then we're gonna have to go to jungle. But with jungle, I wouldn't even recommend playing the jungle ones, because I have no idea who's playing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we do get that fitting, but unless there's information out there that I'm not aware of. You'd kind of be just coin flipping as to who is the actual starter. Let me see.
And we can't get it with RNG jungler,
right? That's the next spot. Oh well, so you wouldn't want to do that because you would have to have 2 junglers in that lineup either way. So even if that one fit, you're taking on that risk of having a jungler that doesn't play. So that is a potential pivot spot. So if you wanted to do RNG T1 with a jungler captain, you could try to pivot to a different jungler, which is actually, that makes sense. So if you had RNG, really love this lineup, 3-4 ADC RNG stack with Genji. Yeah, Keekster, I could see it working. I am a little afraid of Genji. Not only do I think that their upside when they win is maybe gated tonight, I think there are real chances for KT to win. So let's go to top. Okay, so top 4-3 works, and then 3-4 is going to be the one that's more difficult, but that one also works. And then I guess we should double check with the RNG side as well. So maybe we can do like a 3-4 jungle. 4-3 no. Then 3-4 no. But again, we're like 100 off over here.
Okay. So we're going top on T1.
This is, yeah, for RNG T1 it's top T1. Yeah. Top T1.
Okay.
And then the jungle is close, but in order to pivot away from that, you're going to need a jungler that's an underdog, I think. Actually, you could do Canyon from Damwon Gaming. You could do Clid from Genji if you wanted to do an RNG T1 double jungle team that has a one-off as a jungler. That's pretty interesting, but basically you would need to convince yourself that T1 is going to be the second highest scoring team on the slate, and then you would need a carry performance from Clid or Canyon. And in that situation, I think Clid is much more likely to have a carry performance than Canyon, based off of what we've seen so far.
Right, and also IG doesn't score 1 million points.
You're saying that's what we need is for IG not to score 1 million points? Yes.
I mean, that's sort of any
lineup that doesn't include IG. Yes, we want them to not score 1 million.
Yes.
Please, no million. Please don't do it. My tender heart cannot deal with that. So just looking at the salaries between RNG and Invictus Gaming, it looks like we're going to be in a similar spot. So I'll start at jungle, and we'll try to get that one. IG. So 4-3. We have jungle with T1, but we don't have 3-4s. So I think that means that we would probably get Invictus Gaming as a 3-4 with the jungler stack. But again, we don't really want this one because of the jungle situation with T1. So this is going to require pivoting away from that like completely. So what do you think? Do you think we should include it or not?
I mean, you can build it. So, I mean, we're not really telling people that that's the play.
Yeah, I know. I kind of, that was my first thought too, but the last thing I want is somebody being like, oh my god, I had the best team ever last night, and then I had the wrong jungler and I lost. That just seems like a nightmare.
Sure, but that's a good lesson for them.
Wow. Your dark side is showing. So if you want to do IGT1, you can do the Shy as your captain. That's pretty nice. So if you look at this first lineup here, we have the Shy, Kana, Leon, Faker, Puff, Effort, T1. So that's a pretty good lineup, and I think that you have the additional upside of switching out Faker and T1 to try to get some additional upside in there if you think that Faker's upside is limited. So, Oh My Dear says, wish the 400k qualifier contest had cheaper entry fees. What's the 400k qualifier? Do you know what he's talking about? Or
I don't know. Somebody just tweeted out about there's some online championship that they opened up qualifier tickets for tonight, I think, for the first time.
Oh.
I haven't looked at the contest or anything.
All right, I'm looking it up right now. Okay, so we have a 19-player tournament. LOL 400,000 online championship. Oh my god, I have to play these. Wow.
I mean, you don't have to.
Mind your business.
That's kind of, I mean, qualifiers are just like burning money.
Maybe. This is pretty good though. 400k, so that means the way that they've been running their lineups, it's going to be 400k, but with either like 25 to 33% in first place, maybe a little bit less. And it'll be a lot tighter field. So right now they have qualifiers for $34, $63, and $151. There's no way that I'm not entering that. So let me just get that ready. 1 second times 2.
Well, while you're doing that, I don't know. I just kind of want to address this IG, my thoughts on this IG Wii matchup, because to me it reminded me a lot based on everybody talking about it and some of the statistics. It made me a lot like going into a Coors day in MLB.
Sure, what's that?
Reminded me a lot like a Coors game where pretty much everybody's in play from both the teams playing at Coors.
Okay. Which games?
The IG Wii game.
Sure. I think that's a good point.
WB.
That's definitely a possibility. I think that there are chances that the game makes sense as a game stack, but it's super difficult to get there. You know, it's tough to convince yourself of. Do you think that you will game stack it, or do you just want to have exposure to both sides in case one team does really well?
So I'm not going to game stack it, just because that's sort of against my fundamental
code of ethics.
My fundamental rules here.
Sure.
That's just one of those scenarios that, and so little that I'm not going to try to attack it every time, just hoping I get it right.
Yeah.
But I'm talking more about Coors game. I'm more apt to just fade.
What?
Oh yeah. That's how I play.
Oh my god. You're a madman.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so just before So you want to fade Invictus Gaming tonight? In how many lineups?
Oh no, I'm still working through this with you here. So I'm just following my thought process.
Yeah,
as
we'll talk you down off the ledge. So you're saying that your impulse to be contrarian and hurt yourself is outweighing your desire to make money.
Well, no, because I'm going to make money if it fails. If I fade it.
You could also make money by walking out in your front lawn right now and finding a pile of cash. Doesn't mean it's going to
Uh,
happen.
I mean, there's a chance my dog ate some
Yes.
and then shit it out.
Yes.
So
Correct.
I could.
You could.
But, I mean, nobody's going to go looking out there for it. So,
Well, I'm in your front lawn right now, and I just found the money. So sucks to be you. So just before we go,
but actually,
what?
no. So that was my thought process up to a point. And then I looked at salaries and, well, hey, guess what? You know how the catcher is like the 10th highest priced guy on a Coors slate? Well, that's not the case here.
Okay.
IG's not priced like they should be.
So do you think that they're overpriced or underpriced?
Well, I mean, if we're following this analogy,
Yes.
then they're underpriced.
Man, I don't know. That's a tough one. So before we follow this to the logical conclusion, this is what he was talking about. So right now in the lobby for tonight, there are 4 qualifiers for the online championship. There's no date yet, but there are 4 contests. So there's 1 ticket per contest. The first one is 4 people, including myself. Then we have a 10-person one, a 10-person one, and a 19-person one. I think that for somebody like myself who loves esports DFS, I think it would be so cool to be involved in one of those kinds of tournaments that even if I lose all 3 of these or all 4 of these, I mean, I can't pass up the chance to be in that contest. I think it's too cool to miss out on.
Yes. So yeah, I'm gonna say avoid all qualifiers unless you want the reputation that you get. Like there is a value to the reputation.
Clout chaser.
I mean,
I don't even care if that's what I have to say in order to justify me playing in these contests. That I have to call myself a clout chaser. Call me a clout chaser. I like it. Man, do I want to play in this one as well? The 2 game? No, that's too degenerate. Let's see what the salaries look like. We're going off the rails. Okay, let's get back at it. You got to slap me slap me around a little bit. You got to keep me focused. That's way too. Whoever did that in the chat, shame on you. Shame on you for distracting me like that. Let's see if we just missed anything in the chat, though. Literally happened to me. I was the guy who tweeted y'all this morning, had Kramer instead of Jin Zhao, facepalm, ouch. Check DK. I did check DK. Oh, my dear. Thanks for derailing the show for 5 minutes. Hell yeah, I miss Coors. What were you going to say?
Well, shout out to Oh My Dear. He runs a stream, too, that goes through slates. You should check him out.
For League or for everything?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh my dear. That's an Odeer. That's an Udyr pun. That's a champion from League.
Yeah. Sure. I believe you.
Does he do it every night? Is he probably on tonight?
He can probably tell. I think he was streaming earlier.
Oh, okay. Clockscliff says, even outside of a game stack, just that both sides have high upside. Yep, I think we all agree. The upside is there for both teams. The difference is that the chances of Invictus Gaming winning the match is, what, 3 times as high? What would you say it is? 75-25 or 60-40?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 75-25.
So is that what the odds are or what you think they are?
Oh, that's what the odds are.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm more apt right now. I'm sort of leaning 50-50 on those teams.
Okay.
For stacks.
So Then we have Just Call Me Q says TES and Invictus Gaming calls are like contrarian level 9,000 most times, which is why it's harder to convince yourself. Yeah, it is tough to convince myself, definitely. Will this be uploaded after you are done? I didn't know you was live. I will try to get this uploaded as soon as possible once it's finished. It does take a decent amount of time to...
Yeah, we talk too much.
Well, relax. But yes, he is correct. We do talk too much. Mostly me, but there is too much talking. When you win a qualifier, tweet me already streamed. Okay. Oh, my dear, you tweet me. And then we'll try to get you on this next time with Matthew and myself. You're not allowed to wear a hood, and you might not be allowed to talk, but, you know, we'll figure it out. RNG Damwon Gaming. Back on track. Back on track. Laser focused. Nobody can derail me. I am too focused.
Yeah, you've got like a vampire-like focus.
Yeah, I don't know why you're bringing this back up, man. It's you and it's Ethan. I think his name is Ethan or Evan, the guy who keeps saying that in my YouTube comments. He's not wrong, though. You know, some people would kill to look like a vampire. There might be a pun in there, but it wasn't intentional. RNG Damwon Gaming. RNG Damwon Gaming. Damwon Gaming as a captain. We cannot fit in RNG. We cannot fit in RNG, so now we need to go to mid lane. Man, my brain is racing right now with these online qualifiers. You don't even know.
Let's at least get through these top few stacks before you get crazy on me.
Too late. Sorry. RNG Damwon Gaming cannot fit in mid. So now we're going to have to go down to jungle. Jungle. RNG Damwon Gaming. RNG Damwon Gaming. And it fits. So the 4-3 fits. And the 3-4 also fits. I don't think the RNG side is going to work out with that. Have a Coke. Relax. This guy wants me to have some kind of like insane heart attack or something. We can say it. We can see it in your mouse wheel rolls. What? How fast I'm going? Yeah. There's a guy. Have you You've heard the intro music that I have, right?
Yes.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you seen that guy Zoe McNeil? Did you see his comment when he said, "Yo, play at 2 times speed. It's hilarious." Have you done that?
Would it insult you if I said that I only listen to you at 2 times speed?
It wouldn't, but it's so good. It's like somehow it's even better 2 times speed. I don't know how it's possible. It's one of those things where you don't intend to do it, but the way that music works with like the meter or whatever, like the what's it called? The ratio that allows music to sound
beats?
Well, no, like the actual ratio. Like the ratio that makes it pleasant to hear it at like 3/4 tempo. Even when you mess with that tempo, it still sounds good just because like science and stuff is just so cool. Like when I did it the first time, I instantly started laughing, and it's all thanks to Zoe McNeil. A true god.
All right. So what did we have for?
We had Damwon Gaming 3-4 and 4-3 jungle stacks, but right now I'm looking to see if we can fit any RNG ones, and we can. So this one right here, we have RNG plus Damwon Gaming. That is a very interesting stack, in my opinion.
Yeah, so running through my projections and running a few lineups before this.
Go on.
I was getting a lot of the top stacks were IG and Damwon.
I think that it makes sense. You said, wait, RNG Damwon or IG Damwon?
IG.
Okay, so IG Damwon, we have a 3-4 stack that fits in at 50,000 salary. That includes Rookie and the Shy. So this is the kind of lineup that I think is going to be very attractive to a lot of players because the Shy, we obviously know, has tremendous upside and can carry games. However, it is nowhere near as good as the rookie or puff stack that we see right here. I think that the difference between these two lineups is extreme. And like this one doesn't fit into salary, this one does fit into salary. But I think people's desire to play these two teams together is going to have more people on this than there probably should be. And I think the fact that it's the double jungle isn't going to make it very highly owned. What do you think about this lineup? Do you like this or no?
So putting together my cash lineup, that's almost my cash lineup.
Okay.
Except I went down to support at captain. I got Southwind at support.
So
as captain.
So you like that one more than having the.
Yeah, just because it let me upgrade
the other spots.
That other slot. Yep.
Sure. Okay, so we have Invictus Damwon Gaming. Next up, Edga. Am I saying that correctly? Edga? That can't be right. But is he joking? No one knows.
I certainly don't, because I don't know any of these teams.
EDG, Edward Gaming. Edward Gaming plus T1.
If you are a clout chaser, you probably want to have more people that know League of Legends on your streams. Just a suggestion.
The self-destructive tendencies of Matt show themselves once again. Hey, Mike, I don't know if you know this, but this oh my dear guy, he knows League of Legends.
I think he's paid, so I believe he's a coach for another site. So.
Oh really?
You're gonna have to hire him away.
That's gonna be a no for me, dog. No one's getting hired. My roommate, when we were putting together that song, like he's a personal trainer, and he's like obviously being a personal trainer right now is impossible because the gyms are closed. So he was like joking around saying like, "Hey man, can you give me a job? Can you give me an internship?" So I said, "Yeah, you can be my intern. Now we have to go make a song." And then we made the song. EDG, Jungle Captain plus T1 doesn't work. EDG, 3-4 and 4-3s don't work. Wow, that's surprising. Why is that? Huh. Okay. We'll go down to top.
So someone's saying here in chat that
that's wrong.
Nuclear probably won't start. DWG starters for tomorrow are sketchy AF.
Why is that? Well,
that is what L Mason 1 is saying.
Like I said it, and then I'm like, wait. He's letting me know because he just found out. Okay, so I had a mistake in my sheet, so I gotta alert everybody real quick.
Someone in my small group Discord here just said, "You're gonna end up fighting this dude."
Who, me?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh my god. Well, whoever that person is, maybe I'll fight them instead.
Yeah, I'm not much of a fighter.
Oh, well then I will fight you. This worked out great for me. Okay, so top 4-3, because I had it in wrong, so it's supposed to be Jinu. So the 4-3 doesn't work, so we need the 3-4.
The 3-4
EDG T1. EDG T1 3-4. So Red Moth is saying, what percentage of 14 lines should be the same? I don't know what that means. What percentage of 14 lines should be the same? Can you think of that off the top of your head? Does that make sense to you or no?
I'm just teams, probably what teams you want to focus on for what percentage of stacks you want for 14 lines.
Oh, if I'm making if I'm making 14 lineups, what percentage should be the same teams? Okay,
Yeah.
so Red Moth, that is a good question. It all comes down to your risk tolerance and what your goals are for DFS. If you're somebody like Matt who's trying to build up a bankroll or playing like quarter contests or dime contests or like taking shots at different stuff, the amount that you're going to want to hedge, I assume, would be higher. But if you're somebody who's extremely risk tolerant, like myself, who is going to fire 4 shots at those tickets, then I would do up to 14. I would consider doing 14 of the same. I have 14 lines asking how many should be the same, or should I try to make 14 different lineups? So yeah, basically what I'm saying is it depends on what your goals are. If you have a good feeling about a specific team, especially if that team is contrarian, then I think there are good reasons to get a bunch of different combinations where they're your primary stack and secondary stack. If you lose all 14 lineups, though, and it's going to ruin your day, then maybe don't do that. But I think if I'm being... Whenever I build my lineups, I have a similar like thought process that I have to go through to try to justify to myself how much am I chasing the top upside, how much do I love every individual team, and how much do I really want to hedge. A lot of the time when the contests are over and I'm reviewing my lineups and I see that I have like a lot of exposure to different teams and I only have 1 or 2 teams cash and I only make back like 50% of what I risked, then I always think to myself, why didn't I just take a shot? If I know that I'm going to go out there and lose half of it anyways, I might as well actually take a shot at something where I give myself the additional upside. Matt, what do you think about that?
I always assume that I've lost all of my money that I've entered when I go into a slate.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of have to. Like, you have to be willing to risk it to win.
But to answer his question directly, I would not do any of the same lineup. There's a lot of people that are going to run.
Is he saying trains?
Assuming different contests.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people that like to enter the same lineup. Maybe it's a cash lineup even, and just throw it in all the different contests and wait for that one night that it hits and blah blah blah. But I'm gonna say that you want to tailor those. If my assumption is correct that it's the same lineup in different contests, you want to tailor the lineup to the contest. You want to tailor it to how many people are in that, how top heavy the prize is. $1.20 max. Yeah, I would. Yeah, you never want to run a train.
Okay, so just clarify for him though what you mean by a train versus
yeah. So a train is just having the same lineup in a contest, and there's no upside to that.
Well, not in a cash game, but in certain kinds of contests there is a little bit of upside. Like if the payout structure is extremely top heavy, like a lot of these contests are, the top 10 spots make like 50% of the prize pool or 40% of the prize pool, then I could kind of see somebody justifying it. I know that's why a lot of the professional players, if they don't love a lot of different lineups for a specific night, they'll just run out duplicates, hoping that it comes in first and they get a higher chunk of the split. You know what I mean?
I guess I've never seen that other than the other day. I guess the other day Osmo did run.
Yeah, a couple guys did. A couple guys had two first place tickets. But I mean, those are the most risk tolerant guys you're ever gonna meet. So,
in the $1, I would definitely run 14 different lineups. I might have 1 or 2 teams that I have 7 different stacks of and pair them with different things.
Yeah. So, and I think it just goes back to the question of like, what are you trying to accomplish? If you're trying to get better at building lineups and you want to play esports DFS long term for League of Legends, I think there is some additional value long term in learning how to throw out 14 lineups that are either highly correlated or something like that, because it's just good experience. But you need to be willing to lose that money in that scenario. So T1, we have jungle.
Yeah, and if you're just trying to min cash, then I don't think you should be playing in the $1.20 max.
Yeah.
You should be playing for first.
Yeah.
And your best chance to me winning first is 14 different lineups.
Yeah. I would always do the 14 different lineups because I enjoy the process of building lineups. So like this, all the stuff that we're doing right now is so excessively nerdy and like just nerdy that if you don't enjoy this part of it and you're losing money, I could not imagine how horrible that would be.
Oh yeah.
That would be painful.
Yeah. I have one of those things happen for me.
One second.
All right.
So this is T1 EDG.
What is the
4-3 jungle stack?
4-3 jungle stack. But the 4 is T1.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Then we'll have to go to EDG RNG. This one's going to be a tough one. These salaries are very similar between the teams except for jungle. XLB hasn't shown a lot of upside, and neither has Longxi from RNG, which is kind of weird because I love their team. Like, I think they are a good real-life team, and they have the potential to be a very good DraftKings scoring team. But for one reason or another, they just haven't had, like, those extremely highly correlated finishes recently where everybody goes off, like, for an insane amount of points. Which is a feels bad man situation. So 4-3 and 3-4 jungles do not work. And they're not even particularly close. So let's go to top. So what do you think about in a 4-3 with RNG being the 4? An RNG 4-3 stack or an EDG 4-3 stack with jungle pairing with RNG. Do you have a preference for one of those? Like, would you rather have a double top team or a double jungle team?
I don't know. I'm not educated enough on those.
Okay. This doesn't look right. Oh, because it's in the wrong one. We're not in the top yet. That's a good reason. Okay, still can't get there. Still can't get there. Yeah, EDG RNG is going to be expensive today. EDG RNG. You can get in with support. You can get in support with both ways, with RNG as the primary stack.
Yes. What's your preference on that then?
I think that
those two teams.
If I was going to get 4 players from one of those two teams, RNG versus EDG. I think tonight, specifically RNG, because of the matchup against Dominus, as opposed to OMG. I think the OMG matchup is tougher from a DraftKings perspective. And then in terms of like player talent, like if I was trying to think of them, because I think that's one thing that doesn't happen in esports DFS is that the DraftKings players don't think of them as like actual people playing an actual game with different talent levels. I think that they're just viewed as like interchangeable parts on different teams with like similar upside and similar downside. But the skill difference between these guys is just as big, if not bigger, than you see in like traditional sports, like between quarterbacks or something like that.
Yeah, and for me, the one of the biggest things that I was interested to know about the statistics in league, and it seems like they're not there, is where are the what is considered the true skill statistics? You know,
Yeah.
what is the stuff that you regress the kills to when you're doing projections? I don't know
I think
if you're,
that
if you're you know what I mean.
yeah, I think that the problem with that is the it's just so fundamentally different from traditional sports that the statistics that people gravitate towards because they're like showy stats that like it's easy to see how it could impact a game, those are so noisy because of how the games actually play out. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you play the map correctly and like play the game from a macro perspective the correct way, you could have a 2 to 5 or you can have between 2 to 5 kills for the winning team be like a dominant performance in like which would be more similar to baseball. So it's like okay, we had a pitcher's duel. It was 1-0 and both pitchers dominated. And it's going to look shitty for the offensive players in DraftKings, where like that doesn't happen as often in football or basketball. Like you can kind of depend on some kind of like floor because of those.
But I mean, but in baseball, you can look at how many barrels different players got. You know, those true skill matchups or not matchups, statistics, barrel percents,
By
hard
barrel
hit rate,
percents, do you
those
mean
sort
like
of
how
things.
often they're making good contact?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a. Oh, now you're gonna make me look it up. What is a barrel?
That's a very good question, and that's something I'll have to put more thought into.
And maybe we can talk about that some other time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
So it's basically combining um, exit velocity and launch angle.
Okay.
There's certain range that you have to reach, and it's considered a barrel.
Okay.
And that's that's something that a lot of analytics people will have called. You know, basically they've done the regression studies or the R squared values, and it's really it's correlative to the results that the player gets.
Yeah. So some of this there are a lot of statistics in League of Legends that are being pushed by the like the broadcast crew so that they have something to talk about, but they are so like bad. They're stats that don't matter. They just really genuinely don't matter. They'll do things like proximity between players, like what's the mid jungle proximity for a different team, and then if a team is good, they're like, oh well, this team is good because the mid jungle proximity is so high. It shows that they have a high amount of synergy between the mid laner and the jungler, which allows them to control this part of the map and this part of the map. When in reality, it's like, okay, well, if you're a winning team and you win often, that stat is going to look good for you because in order to create advantages, you're probably going to have your players a little bit closer together than the enemy team. Because when you're behind, you're spending so much time focusing on getting like little things like creeps to like acquire small amounts of gold at a time and like protect your floor. So maybe that's one thing that we could look at, but that's not going to translate to DraftKings very well. So the same way that barrel percentage might tell you more about real life skill than DraftKings upside, I think that the CS thing could probably be the same. The one difference between barrel percentage and the kinds of stats that I'm talking about is that barrel percentage, I could see a direct correlation between players who have high barrel percentages being like players you want to identify because when they put it all together, they're going to explode, right?
Right. When their luck is when they're not unlucky.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great question.
Um,
It's very interesting. I will try to think about that more in the future because there are definitely things to look at, but can't think of any off the top of my head.
but
So EDGIG. Let's start at. This is going to be another one that's probably support. So let's go down. EDG 4-3 with IG. Oh, it should be at the top. Yeah, that doesn't even fit. Wow. the 4-3 stack doesn't fit. And then EDG, IG, the 4-3 and the 3-4 neither fit. You might not be able to stack EDG with IG tonight. Isn't that crazy? That like never happens, right?
I don't
Okay.
think I've
I think I can make it work. EDG, IG, EDG, IG. 400 difference, 200 difference. So you would think that you would need it to be EDG support so that your captain is Mako. But unless I'm doing something wrong, it just doesn't look like it actually fits tonight. That's an interesting one. If anybody out there can make one of those work, let me know. Otherwise, we'd have to do like a pivot or something. So I'm going to take a few questions. Not sure. So it's 3-4 ADC EDG stack with T1. It projects really well. I know that's not the only thing that goes into it, though. Not sure if you saw this. 3-4 ADC EG with T1 projects really well. Okay, so Keekster, in our projection system that we're using right now, I basically pick how I think the matchups are going to go. So since EDG is 2-0, they're going to have a very good projection. And then since T1 has a 2-0, they're getting the games not played bonuses. So I would agree with you that it does probably project. It does project well. And I think that there is a chance that it is a good lineup tonight. But for a GPP, I think I will not be going in that direction. All right, so we went with one question. Now let's get back into this. RNG plus Genji. This one should fit at the jungle level. So RNG Genji fits at jungle. 4-3 with RNG as the big team. And then we'll do Invictus Gaming. So Invictus Gaming with Genji does not fit as a 4-3, but I'm sure it will fit the opposite way. So IG Genji does fit as a 3-4. Bigger side is Genji.
That was jungle.
Yes. Actually, how close was that one? Mid's not going to work there, I don't think. But I should check it. Genji, no, that's 2,000 off. And then 900 off. Okay. So EDG.
All right, let's knock out these last 3 40+% and maybe move on.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's been an hour and 20 minutes? Holy shit. Personally, I think it's going fast. I don't know how you feel, but I think we've actually had some pretty good like exchanges and like sidebars and stuff like that. There's actually some pretty interesting stuff that we got into tonight.
Yes, I agree.
Good. And if you're lying, you did a great job lying right there. Very convincing. Okay, so jungle, we want EDG Damwon Gaming. We can get that as a 4-3 stack with EDG, which is the better side. Like, that's the one that we want to see. The alternatives upside is a little bit lower. Genji plus Damwon Gaming. That fits easily, so let's just go to jungle or mid lane. Or actually, did I do that wrong? We'll find out shortly. This is Genji DWG 3-4. Then okay, so this is Damwon Gaming Genji. So that's a 4-3 ADC. Or 4-3 mid lane, sorry. AD carry might actually fit too. AD carry. Yeah, it fits. right down here. So 4-3 ADC. And then I think
Is the 4 there? Sorry.
that one, the 4 is Damwon Gaming. Their prices are very similar. And I think that their outlooks today are pretty similar as well. Okay, and then the last up, we have EDG Genji. This one's going to be a little more difficult, so let's go down to jungle. Let's just do mid. EDG Genji works as a 3-4. It looks like it will not work as a... Oh, that was the wrong one, sorry. EDG Genji does not work as a 4-3. EDG Genji works as a 3-4. Scout, Jinu, Meiku, Clid, BDD, Ruler, Genji.
And that was ADC, right?
That is mid. 3-4 mid.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the rest of those should work out as 4-3 ADC with whatever stack you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the chat. Okay, so that's somebody explaining DraftKings to somebody else.
We've lured in our first unsuspecting League of Legends.
That's so funny. I didn't even realize that I left it as League of Legends. But I'm not mad about it. Fair enough. Thanks for the explanation. Entries cost money. That's a basic lowdown. Seems cool. It's life consuming too. Oh, you saw this and you didn't even say it. So Triple 29 Threat is a League of Legends coach. Okay.
I'm trying to keep you on track and maybe answer some of these as I can. Plus, that's my excuse if I can't answer your question. I can just say, "Oh, I was talking to chat."
Yeah, well, try harder, bro. Like maybe itemization preferences or something, but it's the opposite. Can I get some brownies, sir? We got snacks and shit in the back. That's a lie. We don't go to the back. That is a trap. A perfect hit ball is a barrel.
And I spend my snack money on entry fees, so
yeah, me too. What do you guys think about EDG versus the OMG matchup? I think that EDG is the favorite. And I like their side of things. I think that OMG is a better dog than most of the other ones on the slate. So they're probably like the best, second best or third best underdog on the slate in terms of actually winning in real, quote unquote, real life. What's up, squad? Squad. Nice. Just call me QQ. We look at it from a point scored standpoint. OMG games, whether wins or losses, may not score as high as other games. Yeah, that's true. But there is always variance. Yes. More kills in a match are better. Yes. Triple threat, who do you coach? It looks like he might be gone. I don't think that he is a coach for like a real life professional team, but he might be a coach for like a college team or a like an amateur team. But if he's still here, I'm sure he'll answer that. EDG 7.2% top stack projected ownership, which is 6th overall. Y'all are the new Simon and Garfunkel. Maybe Hall & Oates. I don't know. I'm black. What? All right.
I mean, I'm white, and those guys sort of are the same.
All right, let's look it up.
And I know who they are.
Well, I don't remember what they look like, though. Are you tall? How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
All right, so you're the tall guy. Do you have red hair? I could probably.
We might have some like progression on getting a video of me.
Nice.
At some point here.
So I don't know which one of these is better. I don't think either is great. I think they have the height down though. So I'll be the shorter guy. Whether or not I have a mustache remains to be seen. That depends on whatever we decide. Do you sing, or is this just going to have to be League of Legends only?
I do not sing.
Okay, then we'll stick to League for now.
But I mean, I think the folk artist in me is going to lean towards Simon and Garfunkel, though.
Okay, fair enough. Some would say vocals, like Denny. Do you pay attention to the Living the Stream podcast?
Pay attention to what you cut out.
The
Sorry.
Living the Stream podcast for like during football, fantasy football.
No.
That's a good listen. They're crazy. Well, Denny is crazy. Really learning a lot here.
You might not be surprised, but I try to listen to the podcasts that have the most statistics and analysis and the least extra junk.
Extra junk? Are you saying that what I'm doing right now is extra junk? Half of what I've provided today is extra junk?
No. I mean, also.
Non-zero.
But comes to the things that I like to listen to, and I try to cut out the noise. I mean, it's the same thing as listening to everything on YouTube at twice the speed.
Yeah. Did you hear about the Nevada Gambling Control announced today that it has approved wagering on 3 esports events, the LCS, LEC, and Overwatch League?
Oh.
So that means that we're probably going to get like more accurate lines on LCS and LEC in the future.
Huh. All right. That's always good.
Yeah, we'll see how good Vegas is at that. I'm skeptical. Last question. Okay, Keekster. First of all, I'll decide what the last question is. Last question. RNG World Elite. 3-4 mid thoughts. You know what? That is a good question. But I reserve the right to refuse service to everyone. RNG plus World Elite. RNG. Oh. So you're basically asking what is my thoughts on a game stack. I think that a game stack is doable in that matchup tonight. So if we're looking at the 2 different options of 3-4, I'll just tell you which one I prefer. I'm not saying that these are the best lineups that are possible, but these 2 are kind of interesting. I think that I prefer the one with Xiaohu, XLB, and Betty because, man, that's tough. I honestly don't know if I like either of those. Morgan Beishang, Teacher Ma. That's going to be really tough, and it's going to be tough to find the team that you fit in with that because you're going to require like a third team that's a bad dog. If I was going to do this, I would probably try to do a 4-3 or 3-4 with a jungle captain, and then pivot elsewhere. It's tough. That's a tough one. I thought that I would like that a lot more than I apparently do. Or wait, am I looking at that wrong? Okay, so that's not a game stack. RNG plus World Elite. So okay, so then it's fine. Let me backtrack on that. I was wrong. So if we're doing 3-4s with RNG and World Elite, I think either way they make sense. If you had RNG or World Elite as the higher upside team, I think that World Elite has a higher upside than RNG tonight, probably by a little bit, because even if World Elite 2-0 Invictus Gaming, which is highly unlikely, I could see both of those games being extremely kill heavy, and more kill heavy than the RNG side. Do you have an opinion on that, or are you probably going to stay away from World Elite?
Oh no, I'm all over. I'm probably going to go like 70-30 tonight is where I'm at on those 2 as my 4s.
World Elite is going to be is it going to be 30?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna try to go over on that game.
Sure.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
At this point,
that makes sense.
Just based on prices and likely ownership.
Yeah, so you'll get a lot of different combinations of teams and stuff if you do it that way.
Yeah, and then if I watch, because that'll probably be on by the time I wake up when I can turn that on and just tilt.
Yeah. So Just Call Me Q said that's dope, and also it feels bad, man, because the Sharks come in. So if you're saying that the Sharks are going to come in because of Vegas, I agree with with Matt. The sharps are already in here from the DFS community, so I'm not afraid of people with big bankrolls coming in from like the general sports betting public. They're not going to be anywhere near as good as like Awesemo or Brick. I mean, I am somewhat egotistical. I think I am a good League of Legends DFS player. I don't have the bankroll to support 150 in and out on all these big lineups without like potentially financially crippling myself. So I will never be able to go toe to toe with Awesemo and Brick in that way until I randomly bank like 2 of these things, or maybe if I win the online championship, whatever. But it's kind of different. We're playing a different game. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. How many lineups am I running out? I'm running, I think, 10 lineups in the Titans Fury, and then I'm going to play in all of those online qualifiers because I want those chances at the online championship.
Yeah, and I'm running. I maxed the big dime contest and the big quarter contest, and then I got some, I think, $24 out on cash tonight. And then I threw one in the $4. That's probably going to be a World Elite stack.
Okay. So somebody's asking about contest selection. Is that what you were answering specifically? Or did you just say that and like it just happened to answer his question?
No, I think that wasn't a question. I think that was him just saying.
Okay. Keekster said, "Is it bad to have?"
I think he was telling you that you need better contest selection. If I'm being honest.
Oh, if I'm trying to build a bankroll to compete with those guys.
Yeah.
So I mean that's probably fair. What I would say is before the influx of players from, before the influx of like the sharps came in, I was winning multiple contests a week in the in like the big ones. It's just the big ones were so much smaller. Am I playing the 4-4-4 tonight? No, I typically don't run out lineups that big. Just not something that I'm into. Like, I work in commercial real estate. I have a high upside, low floor day job, and then I also play DraftKings. So I'm not out here trying to play $444 in like every single slate. But right when the coronavirus thing started, I had like 1 or 2 good scores. So I've just been playing with that money for the past couple weeks. Yeah,
and I'm playing with NFL money right now.
Cool.
My money that would have gone into MLB.
Yeah. Okay, so who do you like for top stacks? Also, if you have to leave at any point, feel free. I know you might have to go at some point. But if you don't have to go, then don't.
I mean, I have to build lineups. I might start doing that and just listen.
Sure. Okay.
And throw in dumb comments.
So who do you like for top stacks? You're basically saying Invictus Gaming World Elite, right?
Yeah. I think the upside, I mean, I would really like to have a site that I trusted for ownership. I don't know.
Yeah.
If they are 35% owned, I want to get double that tonight.
Okay. And so you're getting that much exposure to Invictus Gaming, what do you think is a big enough hedge?
Big enough what?
Hedge.
Normally I wouldn't hedge, to be honest. That's another thing I don't really like doing is hedging. Like when I said, basically my entry fees are gone when I assume I go into a slate.
Sure.
But tonight I think that if they win has such a high upside against scoring that IG gives up that I want to be on the other side of that too tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So, everybody in chat, try to throw out some more questions. Um, I'm going to need to step away for a minute. Can you hold things down for
Yeah,
like 5 minutes?
sure.
All right.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, let me look here. So when it comes to the next stack, let me look at what I've got built. So based on the projections that I use, one that maybe it's not a top stack, but it's the 3-man stack that I'm liking the most is Damn Lawn Gaming, just based on projections. For me, that's, I mean, I'm sure it's clear by now, but I don't know enough about League of Legends to try and dips and stacks in that nature. I'm gonna rely on someone that can. I mean, I guess do my personal fundamental rules of DFS is one, uh, have the right tools to make up for what you don't know. Number two is making these up and numbering them on the fly. So this is going to go well. I'm so glad he left. Number two is if anyone tells you that there's only one way to do anything, don't believe them. Just stop listening to them. There's never one way to play DFS. And number three is find a community. Find a community that is, and find a community that is willing to call you dumb, or when they do, they give you the reasons why you're dumb. And number three is pretty much like the biggest place I've improved my game is finding the right community. The one that fits how I play, and maybe they play differently. A place to bounce ideas off of is probably the most important. Ogden 3303 says, how much does kill rate and kill percent influence the teams you want? For me, that's where the projections come in. I don't need to think. I don't need to analyze those numbers because I'm not smart enough to do it. So I'm just going to ignore that. It's the same thing for like any sport. I want to have a set of projections that I trust, and then focus on the playing DFS. The sport is almost irrelevant to me. I want to think about leverage, roster construction, ownership, those sorts of things. I don't have to think about the statistics at a statistical level. I use a couple of different sources and compare them. I know that so right now, I know Osmo is doing projections. All the big people kind of have roto grinders, and then the other one that I look at is Pater. he was doing them before this whole mess came in stuff, and this being the only sport. But really, it's in a sport like League of Legends. I mean, most sports projections are going to be similar between sites. So if like just find one, pay for it. Just I mean that sounds simple and maybe reductive, but it's going to save you time and time is money, blah blah blah. Does that make sense? Are we going to bet on if he has the stupid hoodie
Aha!
thing on?
I knew it!
Oh.
You've been tricked. I was counting the seconds until my hoodie was mentioned. You've been duped. Okay. So let's see. What did I miss?
Oh, while you're gone, I gave my 3 rules for DFS, which I made up on the fly.
Oh, nice.
So you know it was good.
Were they?
I would have to remember them. No, let's see. Number 1 was know where you have the right tools. Okay. And focus on getting a good set of tools for what you need to do to build. Then number 2 was if anyone tells you there's only one way to play DFS, stop listening to them.
Correct.
And number 3 was find a good community.
Well, hopefully we're building one of those. So Brooklyn Juice, that's the second time he's asked me about the 444. I'm not playing in that tonight. Can you tell me what the best lineup would be for one entry into the $5,300 contest? I do not feel comfortable talking about that subject. I don't want to convince anybody to play in a $5,300 contest, personally. If you want to take the information that we give out and apply that yourself, then go for it. But I can't do that in good conscience, I don't think. So how much does kill rate and kill percentage influence the teams that you want? Kill rate. Okay, so this is another thing that is a problem with the statistics in League of Legends. Kill rate and kill percentage is heavily impacted by the champions that teams pick, and we don't know which champions teams are going to pick ever. So if you look at a team like JDG, they have good kill rate, they have good kill percentages throughout the team. Last night they had a bad game against Rogue Warriors because they picked Nidalee Jungle, and Nidalee Jungle doesn't negatively influence your chances of winning a match, but it does negatively impact the ceiling of that team for DFS. Just Call Me Q says, I would take 200 on the hoodie. Well, he wins, so you owe him money now, right? Don't play money you're not comfortable losing. Yes, that's very important. Hey, what's up, Nate? I am having a good night. I hope you are also having a good night. Brooklyn Juice said, I did a reverse mortgage on my home, looking to play big money, first time playing DFS. I am very hopeful that you're just trolling. So good luck with that. Don't do any of that if you're being serious. Just stop what you're doing. Bad. I'm going to call your parents. OK Roan says, how is blue side, red side determined in a match? So the blue side, red side is determined by schedule for the first game. And then after that, depending on the league, sometimes it stays the same. And then other time, I think they all have side selection for the game too. So it really depends. It's almost impossible to predict. I'm sure that there are trends out there that we could find, but it shouldn't do a lot to impact what kind of teams that you're playing. Unless it's the one game slates. The one game slates, I do actually think there's a slight edge to knowing what side a team is playing on because of the different ways that drafts are going to go. So the drafts are a little more, they are predictable to a certain extent. Brooklyn, I love your questions and I love that you're going like this line of questioning, but I can't even like say something sarcastic just because I'm afraid that you might do something that I would not condone. Ogden says, who are your favorite stacks tonight? I need to keep looking at my favorite stacks for tonight. I think that when I did my first pass today on DFS Bachelor's channel, my initial reaction is that I like the favorites a lot. So then for the rest of the day, I've kind of been trying to consider what underdogs do I actually think have a chance of winning, and out of those teams, which ones have the highest upside. In the first pass, Matt, let me know if you agree. I think that World Elite and Dominus are probably the two underdogs that have the highest upside.
Let me look at who the dogs are again. Yeah, World Elite for sure.
Yeah, but in terms of how often does that do the underdogs win, I think that KT has a better chance than both of them to actually win. I think that OMG probably has a slightly better chance than both of them to win. And I think that Sandbox is an interesting team to look at from an underdog perspective. Sandbox, for two reasons. Damwon Gaming has looked very questionable in many of their drafts. And I think that Sandbox actually beat them head-to-head earlier. The one issue is that a lot of somebody in chat was mentioning before that they're not sure what Damwon Gaming's lineup is going to look like. I think they might be saying that because of roster implications if a team gets knocked out of playoffs, but I'm not overly concerned about that. I think it's so close. They've already made the decision of who's playing tonight, I would think. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I would think. Okay. So are you starting to work on your lineups now?
Yeah, and I just tweeted out our results for those top stacks.
All right, cool. So again, for anybody who's on the stream right now, if you want to explain to them real quick what your Twitter handle is and what that matrix does.
Yeah, sure. So my spreadsheet that I tweet out each day at Dark Sheep DFS with a 4 instead of an A and 3s instead of E's because it was the 2000s when I first made that as a screen name.
Lead speak?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, so I tweet out basically taking the implied odds of teams on their own to win and combining them into who we could play as stacks on a DFS slate, with the theory being that in order to win, you need to roster players from a winning team. So that's taking the Vegas odds, and the other assumption there is that the Vegas odds are accurate as to the chances someone's going to win, and then combining those into different groups.
So, are there any things from what you posted? Are there any of those stacks that you like significantly more than the other ones?
Oh, let's see.
Nate, thanks for the kind words, man.
Yeah, so
I appreciate it.
let's see. Yeah, I'm at this point for this slate. I'm honestly, again shooting myself in the foot here. I'm probably not going to look at that spreadsheet. I just want to get some IG action tonight, and then some World Elite action. And then when they have connection issues and that game gets postponed, I can tilt with everybody else.
I also like how it's like impossible to confirm whether or not he paid me. So that's fun. Well, Brooklyn, good thing you can still change it. So if you did put that into the 5300, maybe you want to reconsider some things. Let me know. Let me know how. Actually, you know what? Let me know how that works out for you. Yeah. Also, yes. Let's head to head. The intensity is both good and also potentially terrifying. All right. So we have 2 hours. 2 hours until walk. I wasn't planning on staying up for this goddamn slate, but now there's all these qualifiers. So they're $555 tickets. So if it's $555 tickets and a $400,000 entry with a VIG, 400,000. That's 720 spots. Oh my god. So that would be without a VIG. So then 10%. So maybe they're doing like 650, like a 650 spot contest with 555. So I guess that might be pretty close to what they're running out right now for the forceful blow. It's a little bit bigger than that. Interesting.
Yeah, sometimes they do those where there's like a couple of stages too.
Sure. So, well, this one is saying online championship ticket. So this should be whatever the eventual contest is. It should be the biggest one. If World Elite wins, they're probably the highest scoring team of the night. I agree with that. Qualifiers on DK. Yeah, there's qualifiers. I wonder how they're going to do that, because there aren't going to be a lot of great contests for them to have. Well, there won't be a lot of great slates unless they have playoffs happening, like several playoffs happening on the same day. And they would also have to kind of like fill this out.
Yeah, DraftKings doesn't care. It'll be a showdown.
Yeah, right.
It'll be the first showdown.
That would be the only thing I'm afraid of. Still probably worth it though for me personally. Yeah, so they're saying there will be satellites and there will be direct buy-ins.
Oh, so it could even get bigger.
It could what?
It could get bigger with direct buy-ins.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a ticket to the Tournament of Champions. That's
who knows when that's happening.
Yeah, true. But that is valuable too. Okay.
All right. Well, I think I'm gonna hop off here so I can build. I don't have the attention span to do both at the same time.
Yeah, I'm starting to think I'm about that spot too. Showdown season. I hope not. 150 max showdown slate. Chop City. It will not be a 150 max showdown slate. Brooklyn, if you go to this link, you will find it. I think that I should be applauded for my handling of this situation. All right. Well, Matt, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Stopping by for 2 hours.
How many more of these do we have?
How many more?
These late night slates.
At
Is
least
it one more, right?
At least one more.
Until playoffs?
Yeah, and then the playoffs there still will be 2. Hicksack is saying, who do I think are the top 3 fantasy scorers? The top 3 fantasy scorers, I'll give you... Well, first I'll disconnect with Matt, just so that we have a nice exit. Matt, thanks again.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yep, I'll talk to you soon. So the top 3 players. I think that the top 3 players will most likely come from RNG and Invictus Gaming, and probably Edward Gaming. So if I'm picking players from those teams specifically, RNG, IG, EDG, my favorite top laner would be the Shy, and it would not be close. My favorite jungler is probably Jai, even though there is some, like, it is a little bit scary that maybe it doesn't go as high scoring as other matchups would. So I'm on the fence about that one. Mid laner, I think all the mid laners are good options tonight. So it depends on which one you think has the best game script or which matchup you like the best. I'm pretty impartial to Xiaohu. I think he's probably the most skilled out of these 3. Rookie is a very good player, though. Hope, Puff, and Betty. That's a tough one. That comes down to game script as well. I don't think anybody's much more talented than the others. And then Southwind, Ming, and Mako. That's going to come down to whoever else you're running in your stacks. So based off of that, I like the Shy and Jai. So I would probably correlate with those 2. Puff, Betty, Hope. I like those 3. Biggest upset of the night. Biggest upset of the night, I think that the upset most people are going to say they are going to have exposure to is World Elite. I saw Osmo tweeting out about that, so that's going to influence things a little bit. Whenever your first reaction to a slate is like, oh wow, I love all the favorites, then there's definitely a lot of value on there's good leverage opportunities on the underdogs if you can figure out which ones have the best chances. What else do we have? I kind of like Longshi more than the Shy. I don't, from a talent perspective, if their team has a highly correlated night, I think that he can outscore him, definitely. I think that that's possible. Let's take a look at... So if we're looking at Dominus doesn't give up an abnormal amount of points in their losses to any one position. The one thing that the sports projection chart is telling me to look out for is whoever Damwon Gaming starts at AD carry may perform abnormally well. Just checking Twitter real fast. Yeah, World Elite is projecting high for a lot of people. The one team that I'm like, nope tonight. I don't really have a team that I would say that about. If I had to say that, it would probably be a Freak of Freaks. I think they're probably going to be one of the lowest owned teams on the night. And on DFS Bachelor's stream, I actually did say that a Freak of Freaks have interesting chances of winning the matchup. They're playing some Galio mid, which I like. Okay, so TNX verified saying, did I see about Sandbox and Damwon Gaming? If a Freak of Freaks loses, Damwon Gaming locks up a playoff spot and has nothing to play for. I think that just because a team doesn't have anything to play for, it doesn't mean that they're going to go out and not play well. I think if you look at the European League specifically, we saw G2 and Fnatic both have their like best performances of the season in that situation. Everybody who is in here right now, if you want to be a part of this in the future, you should follow. Are we 100% sure that life on Gen X starts tonight? Gen G is the first game of the night. We should have some information about that around 2 o'clock. Kenzie will probably tweet it out. That's one of the difficult things about Korea is that you're not going to get lineup information for the most part until right before the matchup starts. And the only reason it comes out at that point is because the players who are playing probably have to log into the game client. Can never be sure with LCK. Yeah. But I think life starts, it's not an easy matchup where Gen G can experiment. Was Kenzie tweeting out starters last year? I have no idea, honestly. Michael, I'm ready for you to hit the damn 50k. Hurry up. I agree. I would like to hit the 50k. I think that Mako is a solid support pick. The one thing I would say about the supports tonight is that if you are looking purely for upside, I probably wouldn't play Mako. I think that EDG, based on what we know about OMG, I think that the matchup for EDG tonight is more like a Korean matchup than a Chinese matchup. And the only reason I would say it like that is because I know that most players prefer getting exposure to Chinese teams because of the perceived increase in fantasy scoring. But for EDG, I think that this matchup, because of how OMG plays, is more like a Korean matchup. And we've also seen in some of EDG's wins, they've only been in like the 80s. So when they beat E-Star 2-0, and they only scored Scout only scored 70 points. So that's an average of 25 with the 20-point game not played bonus. When they beat Vici Gaming, they went 2-1. They scored 80 points. They went 2-1 against LGD and scored 63 points. Man. Throat's getting hoarse. I do have cough drops. Against DMO, he scored 83. I do think that there is a lot of value in trying to figure out the like how the underdogs lose, how they go about losing. Like, are they the kind of team who's going to try to fight back often, or are they looking for one chance to kind of go for it in like one big team fight? OMG would appear to be the latter. And I'm actually the guy that told Sports Projections to like look at that, by the way. Is RNG IG possible? I've tried using jungle or supports, and most of those builds have been 3-3-1 for me. RNG IG 3-4 jungle. So I got to get out of here and start building my lineups. Everybody who's still here, please consider following. I might live stream this today at 2 o'clock in the morning. I took a little like half-hour power nap before, but who knows if I'll be able to make it all the way through the games today. But if you want somebody to sweat it out with, I'll potentially be online. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all those places. Yes, Brooklyn, I do have time, but I want to give myself more than enough time because I might want to get a reverse mortgage on my house and join you in the Thunderdome. I'll just call up my my banker, my private banker. But yeah, so thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna start trying to upload this. It's gonna be way too late for it to be relevant to the people on YouTube, but I think these kinds of streams are always a little helpful after the fact, just to get some kind of thoughts about different kinds of slates and game theory and stuff like that. Hope everybody has learned a little bit. I don't see you in the 33 because I'm not in the 33. I did not say I was in the 33. All right, but yeah, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you later.